Welcome back to Dragalia Lost Let's Design. This week I'd like to introduce you to Teresa, the OWCA Inspector, a 5-star flame staff defense unit. One day, a very stern woman appears at the Halidum's gate and demands to see the prince. Upon meeting him, the woman introduces herself as Teresa, an inspector from the Office of Workplace Catastrophe Avoidance. Apparently, word has gotten around that while the Halidum's wartime defenses are solid, the internal workings and day-to-day safety measures in the ancient castle are severely lacking, and Teresa has been sent to make things right. Antics ensue, including old structural supports needing to be replaced, food being left out or stored improperly, and of course children playing around with weaponry. Teresa's kit is designed around team safety, and as such her first skill is Safety Measures, which costs 4,367 SP and raises the team's defense by 25% for 15 seconds. Safety Measures also has a shift mechanic, and Phase 2 also raises the team's strength by 15%, and on Phase 3 additionally raises team critical rate by 10%, all for 15 seconds. Teresa's second skill is Safety Test, with an SP cost of 6,800 SP. Safety Test deals flame damage to the target and decreases its flame res by 5% for 10 seconds. Safety Test is also shareable for a shared cost of 6 at 10,280 SP. Teresa's co-ability is Buff Time 20%, and her chain co-ability is Flame HP plus 11%. As for abilities, Teresa's first one is Safety Equipment, which grants Teresa 100% skill prep and also grants all teammates a life shield equal to 20% of the user's maximum HP at the start of quests. Her resistance is 100% stun res, and her final ability is Buff Skill Time plus 25%. So, the main idea behind Teresa was having an OWCA worker show up at the Halidum and complain about safety violations like kids using weapons. It's spelled OWCA because a friend of mine once misspelled it like that and I thought it was funny, so I made the acronym work. It also has an otherworldly branding that way. I wanted to make the kit a good mix of thematic parts as well as practical uses, so I started with a defense buff bot. Flame is the only element really lacking one, so it was chosen as the element. I picked Staff, as I figured the character would not be huge on physical combat, and went with Staff to kind of break away from the typical role convention like Summer Amane and Galazina. The co-ability follows this trend and is the more practical buff time, as I also want to see more of that specific one in the game. Right now, Patia and Templar Hope have good defensive skills, but I wanted Teresa's to be a little more interesting as a 5-star, so I gave it a skill shift, which should even out to about the same amount of DPS with an equal total of 6 buffs with a full skill shift cycle. For her skill 2, a major problem with Hope, Ellison, and Patia is that their second skill is only damage, and as a buff bot detracts from their main goal of being a support, so I added Flame Res down to Teresa's second skill to aid in team support, trying to make it thematic like setting fire to something to see how it holds up against it. I also thought the skill would make for a useful shareable utility since Elemental Res down is multiplicative with defense down. The chain co-ability was chosen to be HP to also be thematic with protection, as was the first ability, Safety Equipment. The life shield was chosen purely to be thematic, and the skill prep should be widely useful on Teresa as a buff bot. On that note, buff bots really like buff skill time, so I picked that as her third ability instead of something more thematic but less practical. Stun res was chosen over sleep res, as I'd imagine it would be more useful in a dangerous work environment being inspected. That's it for this episode of Dragalia Lost Let's Design. Let me know what you think of Teresa, and I'll see you all next time.